Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has harem with Denzi, Lorelei and Canna. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Paynex65 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. The Fourth Shinobi War, a war with an enemy that caused the 5 main villages to join together to what is known as the Allied Shinobi Forces or Shinobi Rengagun. The 5 leaders known as the Kage, Shadow, joined together to fight the threat of an entity known as the Jubi, 10 Tails. The Jubi, an entity with 10 tails, and the original Biju, tailed beast, that was revived by Obito Uchiha and Madara Uchiha, one who was thought to be dead and the other an infamous ninja that was on par with the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. Fortunately for the Allied forces, the war was won by 2 people. Naruto Uzumaki, a blonde 17-year-old ninja with 3 whisker marks on each cheek. He was the Jinchuriki, power of human sacrifice, of the Kyuubi, 9 tails, and one of the ones who saved the elemental nations and ended the war. The other was Sasuke Uchiha, a member of the Uchiha clan that both Madara and Obito came from. Originally a missing nin after running away from Konoha to get revenge on his brother for killing his clan, was now fighting alongside with the blonde ninja. Both of these figures were the current inheritors of Ashura and Indra's chakra. Naruto held Ashura's chakra while Sasuke held Indra's chakra. Funny enough, Madara also held Indra's chakra when he was alive, along with Hashirama holding Ashura's. These 2 young shinobi won the war when the real manipulator who caused the war, an artificial human known as Zetsu who revived the progenitor of chakra, Kagaya Otsutsuki. Naruto and Sasuke fought valiantly against the mother of all chakra and eventually managed to reseal her away, but for a price. The life of Naruto Uzumaki. It was a surprise to even Sasuke that the blonde, without missing a beat, threw his own life away. The last Uchiha saw the eyes of the blonde, tired, drained eyes. The same eyes as the others in the war, only more tired. Almost if he was dying. Sasuke's eyes at the time widened, and very unlike him rushed over to the blonde's side. "Why?" Sasuke said in a low tone that was almost whispered. "Why didn't you say anything?" Naruto just looked at him with a smile. "Looks like I couldn't become Hokage after all," he said, ignoring Sasuke's question. Ashura's successor looked Indra's successor right in the eyes. "Promise me that you'll become Hokage and protect everyone." Sasuke just looked at Naruto for a while and nodded. Naruto smiled and slowly closed his eyes for the last time. In a rare moment, Sasuke cried for his fallen friend. Sure, he saw the blonde as annoying here and there, but he was the only one who understood him and saw him as himself. That was the death of Naruto Uzumaki, but it was also the birth of another. In a white void, our hero opened his eyes. Looking around, Naruto saw a weird horse-like creature floating in front of him. Scratching his head, he gave the horse a small wave, not really knowing what to do in this situation. "Hello, Naruto Uzumaki," the horse spoke, freaking the blonde out. "Why, you can talk?" the blonde shouted. The horse didn't look insult and nodded. "My name is Arceus, also known as the Original One." Naruto blinked as he looked at Arceus. "The Original One? Does that mean there are more of you?" Arceus shook his or her head. "No, I am the Original One, as in the creator of the universe." Naruto's eyes widened. Wait. You, a horse, are the creator of the universe?" he asked as the horse nodded. "You may be wondering why am I here, correct?" the god horse asked the blonde, who was trying to get his head around this. After seeing the human nod slowly, the horse then started to tell him about his offer. "I have watched you for a while, Naruto Uzumaki." "How do you know my name?" Naruto jumped back in surprise as Arceus' sweat dropped. "You do remember I am the creator of the universe, don't you?" the horse asked as the boy looked sheepish. "Whoops, I forgot," Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head. "Well, I want to give you an offer." As soon as Arceus said this, Naruto raised an eyebrow. "What kind of offer?" "A second chance of life." "So I really did die," he thought somberly before he gained a little hope. "Does that mean I can go back?" Naruto truly didn't want to die. He wanted to become Hokage and maybe have a family. "No, I meant a second chance at a new life," Arceus said. "You'll be able to live a life with a family." "What if I refuse the offer?" "Then you'll pass on to the Johto, Pure Land." Naruto seemed to think for a while. On one hand, he would be able to have a chance at having a family, and on the other he could meet his parents again, Old Man Hiruzen and Erosenin. Looking straight into the eyes of Arceus, he spoke. "I'll take you up on that offer." Arceus looked glad as Naruto took the offer. "Prepare yourself, Naruto Uzumaki. Your new life begins now. A bright light appeared as Naruto raised a hand to cover his eyes. He could feel himself leaving, body and mind, memories racing away. Naruto smiled as the bright light consumed him. He was not a guy who made lemonade when life handed him lemons. No, he was the guy who makes orange juice and leaves the world wondering at his amazingness. All that was left in the empty void was the deity known as Arceus, who turned around and disappeared, leaving the void completely empty. Faulkner was happy, really happy. Why, you ask? His wife just gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. They decided to name him Naruto. Faulkner had his Pokemon play with the child as he got older, and boy did the years pass by fast. Faulkner could remember when Naruto took his first steps, first word, and of course the many birthdays over the years. Naruto had his color hair but a lighter shade thanks to his mother's hair color. Faulkner was the gym leader of Sunnyshore's City and a user of electric-type Pokemon. His wife was a red-haired woman who used ice-type Pokemon, and her name was Lorelei, ex-member of the Kanto Elite Four. Naruto's past memories were fragmented and only a few managed to return to him, and he had to admit how his father Faulkner looked like his past father Minato. His mother Lorelei was kind of like his past mother Kushina, both redheads, and Naruto inwardly laughed at how both of his fathers fell for redheads. Naruto smiled as he played with his father's Raichu and Luxray and his mother's Lapras. Naruto found a love for Pokemon, and he played with them whenever he could. Naruto stopped playing with the Pokemon as he heard his mother called him over. Naruto ran over to his parents, who were both smiling at their son. Naruto, Lorelei said in a motherly tone. We have a present for you. Naruto looked up. Really, he asked. Lorelei chuckled as Faulkner spoke next. We know how much you like to play with our Pokemon, and since you will be going on your very own Pokemon journey, your mother and I have decided to have a Pokemon of your own. Faulkner then moved an egg from behind his back. Naruto blinked as he looked at the egg. A Pokemon egg? Which Pokemon is it? He asked as Faulkner smiled. Now that will be telling Naruto, his mother said as his father slowly handed him the Pokemon egg. Now Naruto, you have to be careful with this egg, alright? Faulkner asked as Naruto nodded. Don't worry, it's very close to hatching. Lorelei held up a Pokeball. This is the Pokeball you will use when the Pokemon hatches, okay? Naruto nodded as Lorelei ruffled his hair. It didn't take that long for the egg to hatch, maybe a day or so Naruto had gotten the egg. During the days waiting for the egg to hatch, Naruto had paid close attention to the egg, not once leaving it alone. Naruto also talked to the egg constantly. His mother thought it was cute that he talked to the egg. Naruto was currently sitting with Luxray with the egg in front of him. Suddenly the egg wobbled. Wait, wobbled? That meant that the egg was hatching. After a bit of wobbling and a few jumps, the egg gained a crack as Naruto watched the egg, as did Luxray. The egg hatched and Naruto saw which Pokemon it was. Chapter 2. The Pokemon egg hatched, showing what Pokemon was in the egg. Naruto and the Luxray watched as a yellow, round-bodied Pokemon with black stripes. Its arms are bulky in proportion to its body, and it has 3 claws instead of fingers. It has 2 stripes on its arms, which wrap all the way around. There are 2 horns on top of its head which resemble the prongs of a plug, complete with holes in their sides. The Pokemon also had a black lightning bolt marking on its chest with 2 rows of stripes are near the marking, with the pattern continuing around its lower back. Its legs are black, and its feet are rounded and toeless. An Elekid, Naruto said as he looked at the newly hatched Pokemon. Luxray nudged Naruto, getting his attention, then signaling him to get closer to the Elekid. Naruto slowly moved other to the Elekid, who looked up at him. Hey there, Elekid, Naruto said, unsure of what to actually say to the newly hatched Pokemon. Elekid looked up at Naruto, and then proceeded to hug him. Elekid, the Pokemon said. Naruto blinked as he heard a voice. Looks like Elekid knows who you are. Naruto turned his head to see his father with a large yellow Pokemon behind him. He knows me? Faulkner chuckled and looked at his son. Remember when you were talking to the egg? He asked and saw him nod. Elekid must have heard you whenever you were talking to him. Hey Dad, where did you get the egg from anyway? Naruto asked. Faulkner pointed to his Pokemon standing beside him, who was smiling. Electivire here managed to become a father. Naruto looked at the smiling Electivire and back to the smiling Elekid. Naruto had a smile on his face as he looked at his father. Thanks, Dad. It's no problem, and besides, Electivire wanted you to be Elekid's trainer. Is it true, Electivire? Naruto asked as he saw the big electric Pokemon nod. Naruto looked down at the small electric Pokemon and held up his Pokeball his mother gave him. Elekid looked at the Pokeball in interest. Would you be my friend, Elekid? Naruto asked. Elekid looked at the Pokeball and back at Naruto and smiled before tapping the Pokeball with his forehead. Elekid went inside the Pokeball as the ball shook 3 times before stopping. Elekid was caught. Holding up the Pokeball, Elekid came out. Yelly Elekid, Elekid said. Faulkner walked over to his Luxray, who had been lying on the floor watching over Naruto, and ran his hand through the Luxray's fur. This was the scene Lorelei walked in on. Did I miss it? She asked her husband, who nodded. You might have missed the egg hatching, but so did I, Faulkner said. I only just came in after it hatched. Did anything cute happen? She asked. Well, Elekid heard Naruto talk when in the egg, then proceed to hug him, Faulkner told his wife. Meanwhile, with Naruto, he was looking at his very own Pokemon that would become his starter. We will become the best trainer Pokemon duo ever, right, Elekid? He asked his partner, who raised its hands in agreement. Naruto held out his hand in a fist as Elekid looked at it, and then to his partner before putting his own hand to Naruto's own fist. Naruto couldn't wait till he became a full-fledged trainer. The general age for trainers was the age of 10, but trainers could start much later, like being 16. Lorelei wanted Naruto to wait a few years before going on his journey, and he was already 11 years old, and while he wanted to go, he understood why his mother wanted him to wait. A year or 2 wouldn't hurt the blonde, so he could wait, and with Elekid recently hatching, he could take this time to get to know Elekid. 1 year later. 1 year had passed, and Naruto admitted that it felt that it went by very quickly. He and his Elekid didn't train as they wanted to train and grow stronger when they went on their journey. Even though they didn't train, they did play around a lot. Naruto was currently wearing dark blue pants, black and white shoes, and a sleeveless black shirt with an orange jacket over top. On his back was a black bag with one strap with an orange Pokeball symbol. You ready, Elekid? The 12-year-old asked his Pokemon. Yelly Elekid, the Elekid replied. Naruto smiled. He and Elekid had waited a year for this day. Even though they could have left any time, they chose to wait a year as Elekid was still a baby and not yet ready for battle, but now they could say that he was ready. The first half of the wait was getting Elekid introduced to the world and playing with him, and teaching him about battling, while the second half was getting him prepared for battle. Now that Elekid was ready and raring to go, the duo were ready to start. Are you ready, Naruto? Lorelei asked as she held a package in her hands. Naruto nodded and looked at the package. What's that? He asked as his mother handed him the package. Open it, and find out, his father said, and Naruto opened the package to show an orange Pokédex. Professor Rowan sent it out for you. You should thank him when you met him in Sandgem Town. I will, Naruto said. Naruto then held up the Pokédex and got the entry for Elekid. Naruto had Elekid return to his Pokeball for now as he turned to his father. You better prepare yourself, Dad, because when I get 7 badges, I'm going to take you down, Naruto stated with a grin on his face. Faulkner smiled at his son. I'll be looking forward to it, Naruto. Lorelei hugged her son. Stay safe and remember to call home now and again. Okay, I promise I'll call, he said. They grow up so fast, Lorelei said, tightening the hug. Can't breathe. Faulkner's sweat dropped. You're suffocating him, Lei. Lorelei let go of her son as he took a breath of air. Naruto was then given 5 Pokeballs from his father, and put them in his bag along with his Pokédex. Naruto turned around facing towards the rest of the Sinnoh region. Waving goodbye to his parents, he left to Route 222. Naruto walked through Route 222 and decided to visit Lake Valor. Lake Valor was a place his mother took him with her Lapras many times. Walking towards Lake Valor, he stopped as he saw a trainer who was asking a few people to battle. Sadly, they were saying no or ignoring the boy. Naruto decided to battle the boy and walked to him. Hey, I heard you wish to battle, Naruto said. Yup, that's right. Well, I'll be willingly to battle you, Naruto said. The boy looked at him and smiled. This is great, he said as he held up his single Pokeball. My name is Connor. Nice to meet you, Connor, I'm Naruto. Connor held up his Pokeball. Go Remoraid, Connor said as he sent out a small light blue, fish-like Pokemon. Naruto held up his Pokédex and recorded the entry on the Remoraid. Elekid, come on out, Naruto said as Elekid appeared. Ready for our first battle, Elekid? He asked as Elekid nodded. Remoraid, use water gun, Connor said as the fish Pokemon shot out a stream of water. Dodge it, then use Leer, Naruto said as Elekid jumped to the side and gave an intimidating glare at the Remoraid. Water gun, Remoraid, Connor yelled out as Remoraid sent out another stream. Elekid, dodge it, then use quick attack, Naruto said as his partner nodded. Elekid dodged another water gun and with quick speed hit the Remoraid, sending it back, knocking the Pokemon out. Huh? Connor said. You one-shot Remoraid in one move? Naruto shook his head. No, if you remember, I used Lyra move that lowered your Remoraid's defense, making the quick attack more powerful. Naruto turned to face Elekid. We won our first battle, Elekid. Elekid Elekid said as he high-fived his trainer, or in Elekid's case, high 3. Naruto said goodbye to Connor and walked to Lake Valor. After reaching the lake and looking around, he saw the lake in all its beauty. Sitting down, he looked up and saw a two-tailed figure flying above. Naruto's Pokédex registered the Pokémon, and Naruto muttered the name of the Pokémon. Azelf, the being of willpower. Naruto watched as the figure flew away. Naruto stayed near the lake before leaving towards the lake's exit. However, as soon as Naruto turned around, he was face to face with Azelf. Azelf looked at Naruto and circled around him before flying off again. That was weird, he said as he started to walk off. I heard seeing a legendary at the start of your journey is bound to bring good luck. Naruto smiled. I still can't believe I saw a legendary. The blonde looked over towards the direction of Pastoria City. Time to get our first badge. Chapter 3. Naruto reached Pastoria City, and along the way Naruto battled with a few other trainers. During the battles, Elekid learned some new moves to use in battle. Naruto looked at the city, and it was less a city and more of a town surrounded by trees and marshes. One of the biggest attractions of the city was the Great Marsh, then the gym for challengers. Naruto wondered about going to the marsh but decided to wait. Naruto walked over to the gym and looked at the entrance. Should I enter? I only have Elekid. Naruto wondered but decided to enter the gym. Naruto entered the gym, saw a young man who looked like a wrestler. Ha ha ha, are you a challenger? The man asked as Naruto nodded. My name is Crash Awake. My name is Naruto. Are you ready? Wake saw Naruto nod. Come on out, Bizel. Boo Bizel. Come on out, Elekid. Elekid. Bizel used Sonic Boom, Wake said as Bizel with great speed hit Elekid, who went to dodge. Elekid used Quick Attack, Naruto said as Elekid dashed at Bizel. Bizel used Quick Attack too. Bizel then proceeded to fasten its pace. The two attacks collided as Elekid and Bizel were sent back. Elekid used Thunder Shock. Elekid gather electricity shot out towards Bizel. Bizel dodged with Quick Attack, Wake said as Bizel dodged the attack. Having the advantage in typing won't help you here. Elekid used Thunder Shock again, then follow up with Quick Attack, Naruto said as Elekid used Thunder Shock, and when Bizel dodged the attack but got hit by the second move. Bizel was knocked back by the attack. Now used Thunder Shock. Elekid listened to his trainer and sent the electric attack at the Bizel, who took the attack head-on. Bizel Wake called out as his Pokemon fainted. He returned his water Pokemon and then sent out his next Pokemon. Go Wooper. Woo-woo, the two-legged blue Pokemon said. Wooper is a water ground type Pokemon, so Thunder Shock is out, Naruto thought before calling out his next move. Elekid used Quick Attack. Elekid dashed forward to hit the Wooper. Use Water Gun at point-blank range. Wooper unleashed the stream of water as soon as Elekid was close to the water type. Block it, Elekid. Elekid raised his arms into a cross to lessen the damage. Wooper used Mud Shot, Wake said, and Wooper shot mud at Elekid. Naruto's eyes widened. Quickly use Quick Attack. Elekid wasted no time dodging the ground-type attack. Use Quick Attack and then use Low Kick. Elekid dashed forward to attack the Wooper, but instead of going head-on, Elekid hit the Wooper on the side. Wooper used Mud Shot. Wooper went for a Mud Shot, but Elekid was too close and used a Low Kick, knocking Wooper off its feet. Wooper, Wake said as Naruto smiled. Now finish it off with Quick Attack. Wooper was hit by Elekid's attack. Wooper fell to the ground with swirls in its eyes. Wake returned his Pokemon and walked over to Naruto. Congratulations on winning that battle. With this win you get the Fan badge, Crasher, Wake said as he handed Naruto a badge. Thanks, Naruto said, taking the badge. You know what, kid? Naruto looked up at the gym leader. What? One day you should come back and we can have a rematch, Wake said. How does that sound? Naruto smiled at the water-type user. Sure, I'll look forward to it. Naruto shook hands with the gym leader before walking out of the gym. Better go to the Pokemon Center. Naruto walked out of the Pokemon Center and decided to head to Solation Town. Naruto walked through the marshes in Route 212. Naruto knew in order to get to Solation Town he needed to get through Hearthome City. Hearthome City also had a gym, a ghost-type gym, but Naruto wanted to wait till he gets another Pokemon. He had a type advantage against Wake's water-type Pokemon, but Ghost Pokemon were tricky. They were immune to normal attacks, so only Low Kick and Thunder Shock were the only moves Elekid knew at the moment that could hit Ghost Pokemon. He did hear about a super contest hall in the city. He thought about entering one, but dressing up Elekid would feel a bit too weird. Maybe he would join a contest later on the way back. Now out of the marshes he met a few fishermen, and asked them if they wanted to battle. Naruto had the type advantage against the water-type users whose teams consist of Goldeen, Shellos and a few with Barboach, which gave him and Elekid a hard time due to being like Wooper. Naruto looked up to see a mansion. The Pokemon mansion owned by a Mr. Backlit, the owner of Amity Square and the home of the famous Trophy Garden. Naruto didn't see why it was famous, but anyone was free to enter the garden, so he decided to enter. Entering the mansion, he turned to one of the maids. "Excuse me," Naruto said, causing the maid to turn to him. "I heard that the Trophy Garden was free to visit, is this true?" The maid nodded. "Yes, everyone is free to visit the garden," she said, as stopped before remembering something. "Are you perhaps a trainer?" The blonde nodded. "That's good," said the maid as she pointed down the long hall. "At the end of this hall, Lady Celeste is also a trainer, and has set up a small battle challenge with the maids for any challengers," she said. "Sadly, most who visit the mansion are non-trainers, and only come for the garden. Please take the challenge if you have time," the maid bowed. "Of course I'll take the challenge," Naruto said. "But my Pokemon needs some rest." The maid nodded. "I shall heal your Pokemon after you come back from the garden." "Thanks," Naruto said with a large smile as he walked to the garden. Naruto saw a Piku, a Meowth, an Igglybuff and many more. Something doesn't feel right here, something was definitely up. "Meowth is a Pokemon from Kanto, what is one doing here?" Naruto asked himself. "That butler seemed kind of fishy to me," Naruto said as he remembered seeing the butler walk out of the garden when he came in. "Better take that challenge," he said as he went back inside. He approached the same maid who gladly healed his Elekid before he walked over to another maid. "I'm sorry, sir, but you cannot come into this room," the maid said. "I was informed of a battle being here," he said as the maid's eyes widened. "You come to challenge us?" she asked as Naruto nodded. "My name is Belinda, and I welcome you to Lady Celeste's challenge." "Are we doing this inside?" the blonde asked the maid. "Yes, we are granted to hold Pokemon battles inside the mansion as long as it doesn't get out of control." Naruto smiled and threw his Pokemon, as did Belinda. Elekid and a Cleffa appeared in front of each other. "Cleffa, use Pound," the maid called out as small Pokemon went in for the attack. Elekid dodged, then used Low Kick, Naruto said as Elekid moved to the side and kicked low at the Cleffa. If only Cleffa was a normal type, Naruto thought. Now use Quick Attack. Elekid slammed into Cleffa, knocking the Pokemon out. The maid returned her Pokemon. "You have won the first battle," Belinda said. "There are 5 more battles left. It was nice battling you." She bowed before entering the room, and suddenly another maid appeared. "My name is Sophie," the maid said. "Go Cleffa," she said as another Cleffa appeared. "You ready, Elekid?" Elekid, the electric type, said as he got ready for battle. Elekid used Quick Attack. Elekid lunged at Cleffa, who tried to dodge. Cleffa used Charm, then Pound. Cleffa, listening to its trainer, proceeded to lower Elekid's attack. Elekid counter-charm with Leer. Elekid glared at the Cleffa, scaring the small Pokemon, causing its defense to drop. The Cleffa came in for a pound, but Elekid jumped back. Cleffa used Headbutt. Cleffa then lunged forward, hitting Elekid, who wasn't expecting the attack from the Cleffa in the stomach. "That move was suited," the mini Faulkner said. "Elekid, are you alright?" "Yelly," he said, standing up. "Use Thunder Shock," Naruto called out as the electric attack hit the Cleffa, winning him the match. Sophie returned her Pokemon and bowed to the trainer before leaving as another maid came out. Naruto saw a theme going on here. "So Lady Celeste is the final fight, huh?" "Hello, my name is Emily. I hope we have a fun battle together," she said as her Pokemon, a Igglybuff, came out of its Pokeball. "Igglybuff," the small pink Pokemon said. "Igglybuff, use Pound," Emily said as her Pokemon went for an attack. "Dodge, then Low Kick." Elekid went for the attack as Emily called out to Igglybuff. "Soften the blow with Defense Curl," the maid called out as Igglybuff curled into a ball as Elekid kicked it. Due to Igglybuff being curled up as a ball, Elekid kicked it as such. Elekid kicked the Igglybuff like Pele. "Now use another Low Kick, Pele," Naruto said, causing Elekid to look at his trainer before going back to the fight. Elekid got close to the Igglybuff, who bounced off a wall after being kicked into it, and was hit by the fighting type move while in a daze. Elekid turned to Naruto. "Yelly?" No, your name is not Pele. "It was something I said in the heat of the moment," Naruto said, causing the Elekid to nod before waiting for the next maid. Hello?" My name is Elena, and my mime Junior and I are ready to battle, the maid said, causing Naruto to raise any eyebrow. I thought maids had to be not as energetic, Naruto said as the maid shook her head. Not at all, now let's go, Mime Junior, she said, throwing out her Mime Junior. Mime, the Mime Junior said. Mime Junior used tickle, Elena said as Mime Junior went over to Elekid and started to tickle him. Thunder shock, now, Naruto called out as Elekid zapped the Mime Pokemon. Use low kick. Now use barrier. Elena shouted as her Mime Junior brought up a sturdy wall to stop the attack, but Elekid shattered said barrier. That Elekid is pretty strong. Quick attack, Elekid hit the Mime Junior at high speeds as it fell to the ground before standing back up. Mime Junior used confusion. Mime Junior hit Elekid using a weak telekinetic force. Naruto watched as his partner get hit by the psychic attack. Elekid used swift Elekid, then unleashed star-shaped rays at the mimic, who was unable to dodge all of them. Elekid said. All these battles in a row were starting to get to his Pokemon. Are you alright, Elekid? He asked as the electric looked at him with a grin. Naruto smiled at his partner as the last maid came out. Congratulations on coming this far, she said. I'm Claire and I will be your opponent for this afternoon. Clefairy, her Pokemon said as it came out of a Pokeball. Elekid used Thunder Shock. Elekid sent the electric attack towards the Clefairy. Defense Curl, the Clefairy rolled up into a ball, taking the damage. Now used Sing. Clefairy then started to sing at its trainer's request. Elekid used Quick Attack to stop Clefairy. Elekid dashed forward, but it was too late, as he fell asleep. Clefairy used Double Slap. Claire said as her Clefairy began slapping Elekid over and over again. During this, Elekid woke up from the attacks. Elekid used Swift. Elekid unleashed more star-shaped rays as it hit the Clefairy at point-blank range. Low kick. Dodge it, Clefairy, Claire said as Clefairy tried to jump back but was caught by Elekid's arm. Elekid kicked the Clefairy, and then released its arm. Clefairy, the fairy Pokemon said as it fainted. You have done well, Claire said. Please wait here while I go get Lady Celeste. Naruto watched as the maid disappeared and he got out an orange berry that he got from his garden. Here you got, Naruto said as Elekid ate the berry and seemed to be better and raring to go again. Just then a girl around his age with long black hair wearing an elegant white dress came out of the room. If you looked closely you could see a faint blush on Naruto's cheeks. She smiled at the blonde trainer. So you are the one my friends were talking about, Celeste said. I thought my friends were exaggerating your looks, but now seeing you for myself I can see why the maids were flustered. Huh, Naruto said. Those maids didn't even look flustered in the least. Seeing his confusion, Celeste decided to tell him. While they may have composure in front of guests, that doesn't mean they keep the composure afterwards, she said. I do have to admit you do have this charm to you. She looked away from him, and he saw a maid's head disappear behind the door. Naruto blinked. Either she was lying about the blushing maids or it was the truth. Meanwhile in Sunny Shore City, Faulkner looked up and tears went down his face. My boy, you have inherited my charms, he said with anime tears of happiness running down his face as his Lux Ray just looked at his trainer in confusion. Celeste turned back around. Apparently she couldn't look at him for so long. Let's go, Chansey, she said as a big pink Pokemon came out of the ball with an egg-looking shape in its pouch. Elekid, the yellow Pokemon said. Chansey used Tail Whip. Elekid used Leer. Elekid stared at the Chansey while the Chansey whipped its tail. Swift Elekid shot the ray of stars towards the Chansey. Take the attack, Chansey. Chansey braced itself for the attack and was hit with the stars. Celeste smiled. Now use counter. Oh, Naruto said as the retaliation attack hit his partner. Chansey used double slap while Elekid is down, she called out as her Chansey slapped Elekid back and forth. Elekid used Thunder Shock. Elekid zapped the Chansey, but Celeste had a smile on her face and didn't look worried in the slightest. Chansey, she said her Pokemon's name. Use soft-boiled the Chansey, then began healing itself. Elekid used Quick Attack. Elekid disappeared in a display of speed and appeared before the Chansey, but Celeste had other plans. Now counter. Chansey took the attack before hitting Elekid back. Now use Pound. Chansey hit Elekid, who was on the ground. Elekid! Naruto shouted. It seems my maids were wrong, Celeste said. Maybe they just let you win with your looks. Naruto had his hair shadowing his eyes and clenched his fist. Are you giving up? Naruto then looked up with conviction. I will not give up, and neither is Elekid. But you're Elekid, she started before Naruto cut her off. Elekid used low kick, Naruto said as Elekid got off the ground and kicked the off-guarded Chansey off her feet. Celeste's eyes widened. I left my guard down for Chansey to get hit, she thought. She also noticed that Elekid was raring to go to town. Chansey used soft Celeste started but was cut off again. Quick attack with your elbow. Elekid slammed into the Chansey with his elbow slamming into the Chansey's stomach. Chansey, she called out. Use low kick to finish it off. Elekid then kicked the Pokemon, knocking it out. Ele Elekid. The Elekid stated as Celeste blinked. She lost. She then smiled after getting rid of her shock. She wasn't used to losing before. Congratulations on your victory. Naruto, he answered for her, as Elekid returned to his Pokeball. Now you get your reward. She then handed him some money, then a stone. This stone is used to make a Pokemon evolve, she said as he put the stone away. He would have to have a look later. Suddenly she gave a kiss on his cheek, causing him to go red. Meanwhile, Lorelei looked up, causing Faulkner to look at her. My baby, someone just kissed our baby. I just know it, she said as her motherly instincts kicked in as Faulkner just smiled for his son. Naruto walked out of the mansion with Celeste, who was going to send him off. You should return later, and we will have another battle. 6 in a row again, he said as she nodded. When Naruto was about to say goodbye, an explosion was heard from the mansion. Chapter 4. Naruto and Celeste ran back into the mansion where they saw Mr. Backlit stumble out of the room. Father, Celeste said, running up to him. Celeste, what are you doing here? He asked. We heard the explosion and came to help. You have to get out of here, her father said. What exactly happened, Mr. Backlit? Naruto asked Celeste's father. Mr. Backlit looked up at Naruto and wondered why he looked so familiar. I don't know who it is or what he is after, but I do know this. It is dangerous for you, Celeste, he said as he turned to his daughter. Naruto looked down towards the door with smoke coming out. Narrowing his eyes, he stepped forward towards the room. Naruto, Celeste called out to him. What are you doing? Naruto didn't turn back around. Take your father and get out of here. I'll deal with this, he said. Naruto already walked off before Celeste could talk to him. Helping her father up and starting to take him outside, a maid and a butler saw the two and started to help them. Celeste glanced towards the mansion and hoped that he would be okay. Naruto entered the room and saw the man responsible for the explosion. Do you know it's rude to interrupt someone's dancing, darling? The man said. The man had a gigantic two-tone afro which looked like a sideways pokeball. He wore garish glasses and dressed in a golden sequin-studded leisure suit. Who are you? Naruto asked the loud and flamboyant man. Darling, I am Myrabi, Myrabi said. Now, darling, please leave as I deal with the grown-up stuff. No, I don't know what you're up to, but I won't let you after you nearly killed people with that explosion, Naruto said. Now that won't do at all, Myrabi said as he did his dance. Let the music play. Pokemon Coliseum OST, Myrabi theme. Myrabi spun around and did a pose. If you won't leave, then I always have time for another dance. Myrabi then threw out a single Pokeball. Lombre, the Pokemon said as it came out of the Pokeball. Come on out, Elekid. Naruto then sent out his starter. Lombre used water gun. Myrabi told his Lombre, who shot a stream of water at Elekid and managed to hit Elekid. Elekid, quick attack. Elekid lunged at the Lombre, who managed to barely dodge it, but it did graze the Lombre. Lombre, darling, use Astonish. Lombre attacked Elekid while shouting in a startling fashion, causing Elekid to flinch. Now Lombre used water gun. Lombre shot another stream of water at Elekid, knocking him back to Naruto. You see, darling, you and your Pokemon are no way near my level, the flamboyant man said. Elekid, can you get up? Naruto asked as Elekid jumped up. Naruto smiled at his starter. Elekid used Thunder Shock, then Swift Elekid sent a large electrical attack towards the Lombre that hit the Pokemon head-on before the rays of stars hit the Lombre afterwards. Lombre, however, still stood strong. Lombre used Astonish. Lombre then proceeded to attack Elekid again, but this time Lombre stopped, unable to move. Lombre was paralyzed. Elekid's static ability, Naruto thought before he smiled. Now quick attack into a low kick. Elekid dashed at high speeds before hitting Lombre back before going for the low kick, knocking the tough Pokemon down. I can't keep up with the tempo. Oh no, what a no-no, Myrabi said. I will be back and win with my elegant dance steps. Watch yourself, darling, I will continue my plans. What is your plan? Darling, if you think I will reveal my plans to you right here, that would be a problem for me, Myrabi said. But since you did when, I guess I could shed some light. Naruto stared at Myrabi. I will tell you why I was here. I was after something that the owner of this estate has, but sadly I couldn't find it till we met again. Darling Myra B then left the room before Naruto could act. Naruto ran out of the room and outside the mansion where he saw Celeste, Mr. Backlit, and entering the police officers who just entered the mansion grounds. Naruto, you're safe, Celeste said. Of course I am, but he got away, Naruto said before turning to Mr. Backlit. He said he was after something you own. It must have been pretty important for them to do this. Mr. Backlit looked down. I believe I know what they are after, he said. Please follow me. Naruto and Celeste followed him into the room Myra B was once in, but he went over to a statue that was still intact. He pressed something on the statue that caused the statue to open, revealing the contents within. He grabbed the item and brought it over to Naruto. I wish you to keep this and keep it out of those people's hands, he said. Naruto looked down at the item in his hands. Was a weird-looking flute that was azure in color. I do not know of where that flute originates, but if they want this flute they will come back and many people will get hurt, Mr. Backlit said. I entrust this to you. It's an honor, Naruto said. Either he is genuine about this, or he is just giving this to me to save his own hide, he thought. They stayed for a while to tell the police of what happened, but when Naruto was about to leave it was already night. It's dangerous to go alone at night, Celeste said. Why don't you stay here for the night? She asked. Is it all right? Naruto asked as he saw Celeste nod. Naruto walked into the spare room and sat on the bed as he looked at the flute in his hands. There was something familiar about the flute, and he didn't know why. He sighed as he put it in his bag and went to sleep. He woke up pretty early and the maids were kind enough to bring him breakfast and last night's dinner. Stretching outside while waving goodbye to Celeste and Mr. Backlit, he walked until he reached Harem City. Naruto walked through the city having a look at the sights before heading off the Solation Town. He heard about Solation Town had ruins and possibly rare Pokemon and some old treasures. Naruto was about to leave when he heard some trainers talking. He also heard of two towers, the Lost Tower and the Hallowed Tower. Was it really that tough? One trainer asked his friend. Naruto decided to listen in. Yeah, the Lord of the Forest is really strong, the other trainer said. I don't think anyone would be able to catch that thing. Lord of the Forest? Naruto said to himself. Where is it? His trainer friend asked. Somewhere near Solation Town, maybe Route 209, the other said. But I don't recommend it, all 4 of my Pokemon were wiped out, and even the nurses say not to go. Naruto stopped listening and went into Route 209. He walked until he saw a trainer run past him. What's wrong? He asked, causing the trainer to stop and look at him. The Lord of the Forest is over there, she said. Lord of the Forest? He asked. She blinked. You haven't heard? She saw him shake his head. Where are you from? Sunny Shore City, he said. That explains it, she said. The Lord of the Forest is a fire-type Pokemon who cannot be caught. Many have tried and many have failed. Pokeballs are useless, as he just destroys them with ease. Naruto turned to look at the forest. You're not planning on going, are you? She asked as he nodded. Well, don't blame me for your defeat, she said as she ran towards the city, possibly for the Pokemon Center. Naruto entered the clearing to see multiple burns, and on a stump was the Lord of the Forest. The Lord of the Forest had a thin straight stick in its mouth and had a vertical scar running down its right eye that it kept closed. He didn't know if the scar was real or fake, but it kept it closed regardless. The Pokemon was a small, quadruped Pokemon with red-brown pelt, brown, pupilless eyes, large, pointed ears with dark brown insides. The Lord of the Forest was fox-like and had 6 orange tails with curled tips. Vulpix, Naruto said as he looked at the Lord of the Forest. The Vulpix glared at him and was prepared to fight, but Naruto grabbed his head with his hand as he remembered a giant fox with 9 tails along with Minato, and Kushina, a fox that was with him. Kurama, Naruto said as the fox stopped and looked at Naruto with wide eyes with a wide eye. Is that you, Kurama? The Vulpix then jumped into Naruto's arms and yipped before giving him a look. You have 6 tails, he said as the Lord of the Forest started to growl at him. Sorry, Kurama, he said as he remembered a few moments with Kurama. He then held up a Pokeball. It's good to see you again, he said as the Vulpix yipped. Do you want to come with me like old times? Kurama looked at the Pokeball, then back to Naruto. So others won't try to catch you. Don't worry, I'll let you walk with me most of the time, okay? The Vulpix nodded and pressed his paw against the ball and went into before the ball shook 3 times and the Vulpix was caught. Naruto sent out Kurama before sending out Elekid. Kurama, this is Elekid. Elekid, this is Kurama. Kurama glanced over to Elekid as Elekid waved happily at the Vulpix. Naruto returned Elekid and looked at Kurama. Wanna go test your strength? Naruto asked as Kurama yipped. Naruto and Kurama walked through Route 209 until they entered Solation Town. So Kurama, is that a scar or a birthmark? He asked as Kurama just yipped. Guess I can't understand you just yet, he said. Naruto ran his hand through Kurama's head. Let's go find some willingly trainers to battle. Naruto and Kurama managed to find a trainer in town and asked him to battle. Let's go, Kurama, Naruto said as Kurama jumped off Naruto's shoulder. Let's rock, Starly, the trainer said. Kurama use ember, Naruto said as the Vulpix shot out an ember at the bird, who dodged into a second ember. Starly used wing attack. Starly dived down to the fox Pokemon. Kurama used confused ray, then will-o-wisp the Vulpix, then used a sinister ray that made the Starly confused before a sinister, bluish-white flame hit the Starly, also making it get burned. Starly used quick attack, the trainer said, only for the Starly to hit itself and get burned by the status effect. Finish it with flamethrower. Kurama then unleashed a stream of fire at the Starly and winning the match. Satisfied with Kurama's performance, Naruto and Kurama then left. Naruto was surprised at how the straight, thin stick in Kurama's mouth was unaffected by the fire attacks. Naruto was glad that he met with Kurama again and that he was on his team. His goal would be much easier with him on the team. Chapter 5. Naruto sat on a stump as he decided where to go. On one hand, I could go to Solation Town, or I could double back to Heat Home City, he said out loud to himself, which would have gained looks if anyone else was near him. Sighing, he stood up. I'll go to Solation Town and have a look, and then I'll head back to Heart Home City. On his way to Solation Town, he had battled a few trainers on his way, nothing too hard to handle, but he was starting to think of a nickname for his Elekid. However, he could think of none at the moment. I'll think of one later. Naruto looked up. It was getting late. And I'd better call home. Who knows what Mom will do if I don't call. After a bit of traveling, he made it to town, and it gave off a country farm feel to the young blonde. It was quite different to the beach city that was Sunny Shore. Different was good, though. Naruto stretched as he made his way through town and towards the Poke Center. He would have to sightsee later on. He entered the Pokemon Center and made his way to Nurse Joy. Hello, how may I help you? She asked, giving a small bow towards him. I would like a room for the night, he responded. Nurse Joy nodded and showed him where the rooms were as well as some other facilities. Naruto gave his thanks as he entered his temporary room, took his bag off and let his Elekid and Vulpix out of their respective balls. Both Elekid and Kurama were quite happy to be out of their Pokeballs. Guys, I'm going to make a phone call, so keep the volume down a bit, he said as he headed towards the phone in the room. Phones were installed in these rooms for more of those private calls. Getting on the phone, he dialed home while casting a glance towards his Pokemon. His fox Pokemon was spread out on one of the beds as Elekid laid on his back. Hello? Oh, Naruto. Lorelei smiled seeing her son after the video feed kicked in. How's your journey so far? Are you okay? Did you caught any Pokemon? Did you get kissed by a girl? Battle any gym leaders? Naruto answered the rapid-fire questions easily. Good, yes, one, no, yes, he replied, lying about being kissed on the cheek. His mother was either overprotective or way too, what was the word? Encouraging? Pushy? Well, whatever the word was, she would either, depending on the person, be too overprotective and could possibly instill fear so bad he'll never see them again, or try to get them together despite them not wanting to. A real wildcard there. Which gym? She asked. The one in Pastoria City, her son replied. And what of this Pokemon? I'll show you, he said as he walked away from the screen and came back holding a Vulpix. You caught a Vulpix? Those are quite rare. Really? Yes, depending on where you are. Where are you? Solation Town, he answered her. I caught him on Route 209, I named him Kurama. Kurama? It fits him, he said. Where's Dad? Your father is currently out, she replied. He'll be home soon though, being a gym leader and all. I know, Naruto smiled. Naruto, Lorelei said, getting her son's attention as he put his Vulpix back onto a bed. Where's your necklace? Why aren't you wearing it? You didn't forget it here, did you? No, I have it, he said as he pulled out the necklace from his bag. The gem on the necklace was that of a somewhat dull golden or bronze-colored crystal. That's 2 questions answered, but what about the second question? I didn't wear it because I feared that someone might try and steal it, he replied. I understand, Lorelei replied, nodding in agreement. But once we're stronger, I'll wear it with pride. Good to hear, Lorelei smiled at her son. Who knows, once you're stronger you'll defeat your father in a gym battle. And don't forget about you, I would love to battle you too, Naruto said. You were once a member of the Kanto Elite Four. Lorelei laughed. Well, I'll be waiting, she said. Good night, Naruto. I'll talk to you when you ring again. Alright, good night, he said as he hanged up, walked over to his bed and collapsed on it after putting his necklace back in his bag. He looked over at his Pokemon, who were already asleep. He laid back and closed his eyes and let sleep consume him shortly afterwards. The next day Naruto put on his bag after having a quick search through it. He still had that flute and that stone that Celeste gave him. Zipping up his bag, he looked at his 2 Pokemon who were still asleep, looked at Kurama. The evolution stone that Celeste gave him wasn't a fire stone and therefore useless on the Vulpix. He walked over to the window and glanced out of it before looking down at his Pokeballs. I should catch some more Pokemon, he whispered as to not wake up his Pokemon. Hardhome City had a ghost-type gym, and he could take it on. He could continue on to Veilstone and take on the fighting-type gym. If he backtracked to Hardhome and continued that way, he could reach Orberg City, and from what he heard, that city had a rock-type gym. He had a fire-type and an electric-type. If he battled that gym as he was screwed. He could go to Veilstone and do a circle and head to Hardhome after passing past Pastoria again. They were both weak to ground, and Vulpix was also weak to rock and water. While his Elekid wasn't weak to rock, he wasn't strong against it either. However, thanks to Elekid knowing low kick, he could win it. It would be better if he had some more diverse type Pokemon. Naruto smiled as he sat down and watched as his Vulpix, Kurama, rolled over and had his legs in the air as one of the lower leg twitched. The fox Pokemon must be having a good dream. Shame he had to wake them up now. Okay, you two, time to wake up, he said as he nudged the 2 Pokemon. Elekid woke up first as it took a little longer for Kurama to wake up. It's time for breakfast, he said as they made their way to eat. After breakfast, he had made sure his Pokemon were healed up before he left the Poke Center. After a walk in town, he learned that the town had a daycare for Pokemon and some ruins. Naruto decided to head into the ruins after getting some directions from the local townsfolk. So this is the ruins, he wondered aloud as he walked in to see some glyphs on some of the wall, which we hard a little hard to read. Are these unknown? He asked as he touched the wall. He had heard of the Pokemon before, and apparently they were all the letters in the alphabet. It's good to see people appreciate the ruins, or perhaps you are more interested in the mythology behind it, a voice said from behind Naruto, who was not expecting it. I'm sorry for startling you, my apologizes. Naruto turned around to see a woman in her 20s or mid-20s. It was hard to tell her age. She had long blonde hair and silver-gray eyes. She wore all black clothes, black pants, black shoes, black shirt, a black jacket that reached her knees with black fur-like material at the bottom and at the end of the long sleeves, and also was connected by something silver that had a droplet shape, the same black fur-like material around her neck and some hair adornments. I was a bit curious about the ruins, Naruto said. The name's Naruto, what's yours? The woman smiled. It wasn't a smile that he normally saw, but rather a smile of someone truly happy. My name is Cynthia, she told the boy. Nice to meet you, Cynthia, he said with a closed-eye smile. Nice to meet you as well, she replied. So he doesn't know who I am, she thought with a smile. It was rare to find someone who didn't know her, so it was a nice change. She would like to keep it that way for a while. I know that this may be a bit personal, but what's your dream? My dream? Yes. If I say mine, will you tell me yours? Cynthia blinked at this before she smiled. Sure. I want to travel around the world with my Pokemon, Naruto told her. I want to meet many different Pokemon and people. What about becoming a champion or a master? I'll admit becoming the or a champion and a Pokemon master will be good, but that's not my dream, he told her as he looked her in the eyes. She saw the determination and truth in his eyes. My current dream is to travel and learn about this beautiful and mysterious world. After that, I'll consider becoming a champion. That's a nice dream, she said truthfully. What's your dream, Cynthia? My dream is to live in a world full of ice cream, she told him. But my other dream is to also travel the world and learn all of the mythology of the world and learn from the various ruins like this one. Both dreams are nice. Thank you, not everyone would think of a world full of ice cream would be a good dream, she said. It's time for me to go. I hope we will meet again, Naruto. I hope so too, he replied. But the world is a mystery, and we will meet each other again, there is no denying that. Cynthia smiled before waving as she left. She was nice, he said as he turned towards the unknown wall glyphs. Cute too. Seems like puberty was starting to kick in. I wonder if this goes deeper, he said as he walked deeper. He kept going deeper into the ruins as he saw some other glyphs on the wall. I can't spend too much time in here. I do need to go to either Hardhome or Veilstone. Naruto then turned around after a far way in before turning around and left the ruins. He walked through the town as he watched some of Pokemon in the town walk around the farm-like town. It was quite the peaceful town. Maybe they held battles here. Well, it was worth a shot. Soon Naruto came across some trainers battling and decided to watch, as it seemed other trainers and townsfolk were also watching. Naruto held out his Pokédex as he gathered both of the Pokemon's data. Mime Jr. and Bonesley. His Pokédex updates were a little slow, but it was gradually updating. Mime Jr. used confusion now. Mime Jr.'s trainer said as Mime Jr. landed the attack on the opposing Bonesley. Bonesley used rock throw. Bonesley's trainer said as Bonesley did indeed throw a rock at Mime Jr. Mime Jr. dodged and used double slap. Mime Jr. had jumped out of the way of the thrown rock and started to slap Bonesley left and right multiple times before jumping back. Now use rock throw at close range. Bonesley threw another rock and hit the Mime Jr. jumping back. Mime Jr. The trainer called out as the Pokemon hit the ground. Mime, the Mime Jr. called out before it fainted. The Mime Jr. trainer recalled his Mime Jr. You put up quite a fight, Mime Jr. the trainer said to the Pokeball. Hello there, a trainer said to Naruto. Hi, he replied. It's quite interesting, isn't it, the male trainer said. This is where Pokemon battles happen in town. I can see it was designed for it. Yep, the trainer replied. The name's Brad and I'm a Pokemon breeder. Naruto the blonde introduced himself. I can tell you're a trainer, Brad said. Care for a battle? 2-on-2? If you wish, Brad replied as the two got ready for a battle. I choose you, Ponyta, Brad said as a Ponyta landed in front of its trainer. Naruto grabbed his own Pokeball. Let's show them Elekid, Naruto said, sending out his starter. Ponyta used Ember. Elekid dodged with quick attack. Ponyta sent a flame towards Elekid, but due to the speed of quick attack of Elekid, the electric type dodged it. Thundershock. Elekid sent a bolt of lightning towards Ponyta. Ponyta ran into it using Flame Wheel. Ponyta was engulfed in a wheel of flames as it made contact with the lightning attack. Brad's Ponyta broke through the attack and hit Elekid, who rolled back after the attack. Now Ponyta, fire another Ember, Brad called out. When Ponyta went to shot an Ember, the horse Pokemon stopped in his or her tracks. Static. Elekid, are you alright? Yelly, the electric type replied. Okay, use low kick. Ponyta used Stomp. The two leg-based attacks clashed. Quick use Thunder Shock, Naruto quickly called out as Elekid listened to his partner and shocked the Ponyta during the clash of the two leg attacks. How are you holding up, Elekid? Naruto asked as Elekid gave a wave as Ponyta fainted. Return, Ponyta, Brad recalled the horse. Now go Miltank. A Miltank? Naruto whispered. Interesting. Miltank used Tackle. Elekid used Quick Attack. Miltank tried to tackle the Elekid, but the electric-type Pokemon was too fast and landed a hit on the Miltank. Quickly, Miltank used Rollout now. Miltank rolled into a ball as it hit the electric type. Kid Naruto's starter grumbled. Miltank then came back from another side using Rollout. Elekid low kick now. Miltank stop. Brad called out as Elekid landed a kick on the rolling Miltank and being kicked away. The Miltank slowly stood up as it looked at the now fainted Elekid. It seemed Rollout took out the Elekid too. Naruto knelt down. You did good, Elekid, Naruto said as he returned his partner. It's your time to shine, Kurama, he said as a Vulpix with a scar on its right closed eye and a straight stick in its mouth came out. Vulpix. The Vulpix yipped. Miltank tackle now. Kurama used Will-O-Wisp. As the Miltank went to tackle the Vulpix, as the Firefox sent a small blue ember at the cow Pokemon. Miltank got hurt by the inflicted burn as it went for a tackle. Kurama used Flamethrower. Miltank used Rollout. Naruto's eyes widened as the rolling cow tried to break through the flamethrower. Kurama jumped to the side and used Confuse Ray. The Vulpix called Kurama sent a ray towards the Miltank, who then got burned from the Will-O-Wisp. Sadly, my Miltank doesn't have thick fat, and now Miltank is confused and burned, Brad thought. Continue on, Miltank. Kurama used Ember, Naruto told the fox as the Vulpix fired an ember at the Miltank, who hit itself in confusion. Tank, Miltank said as it was once again got hurt by burn, and looking at it, the Miltank might be going down soon. Miltank used rollout and headed towards the fire fox, who was sadly too slow to dodge the rolling cow. Vulpix got hurt badly by the attack, but not enough to faint it. Vulpix responded by firing a flamethrower from behind the rolling Miltank. The Miltank kept rolling, and when it stopped, she fainted. Good job, Kurama, Naruto said as he patted the fox before returning it into the Pokeball. That was a good battle, Brad said as he returned his Miltank. Yeah, Naruto agreed. I'd better take them to the Poke Center. That's a good idea, Brad also agreed before the two went to the Poke Center and healed their Pokemon up before Naruto said goodbye to Brad and continued towards Veilstone. As he left Solation Town, he let Elekid out of his Pokeball. Elekid, are you okay? Yelly. Hey, I know losing is rough and stings, but everyone loses in their life, Naruto said. Even if we lose a fight, it will still sting and leave a bad taste in our mouths. Elekid looked up at his partner. Remember what Dad said? He said that there will be times where we will lose a battle, and probably multiple times throughout our journey. However, we will never give up. No matter how many loses, no matter how tough the journey ahead is, win or loss, we will never give up. Yelly Elekid. Elekid said as he threw his arm up, as did Naruto. Now let's go. Elekid. The two continued through Route 210 to continue their journey. Chapter 6. Naruto and his Elekid made their way through Route 210. It seems we missed the turn-off for Veilstone City, he said to his electric-type partner. I think we should turn back soon. Elekid Ieli, the electric-type, said as Naruto decided to return him to his Pokeball. Naruto sat on the ground near a waterfall for a rest. Huh! Naruto heard splashing as he looked to see an orange fish trying to climb the waterfall. A Magikarp. The Magikarp looked up at the large waterfall before diving under the water before jumping out of the water beautifully as it tried climbing the waterfall, however it failed and fell back down. The Magikarp looked dejected that it couldn't climb said waterfall. Naruto looked on with sympathy as he watched the fish Pokemon. Magikarp was one of the most well-known Pokemon that nearly everyone knows. It was very, very rare to find someone who didn't know about the fish. Magikarp was well known for its evolved form Gyarados, but mainly it was known as one of the weakest Pokemon, mainly due to only knowing Splash for quite some time. However, on the plus side, it was orange. Naruto liked orange. Naruto walked down closer to the water's edge as the Magikarp tried once more. The Magikarp looked down at being unable to climb the waterfall again, then the fish felt something rub its head. There, it's okay, Naruto said to the Magikarp. Magikarp was surprised at how the human was right beside it. It jumped and dived into the water for a bit before slowly coming back up, still looking dejected. Hey, it's okay, he comforted the Magikarp. You can jump it, just never give up. With enough hard work you'll be able to get to the top. Magikarp? Personally, I know what it's like to be weak, Naruto said, rubbing the fish's head again. That's what you're feeling right now, right? Carp, the fish said in agreement, letting the blonde know he was right. I know what it was like to be weak, but with hard work I overcame that, and became strong. He stopped rubbing the fish's head. So don't give up, okay? Magikarp. Naruto watched as the fish tried again with more determination, still failing but trying harder. Hey Magikarp, the blonde called the orange fish over. Can you show me how fast you can go? From here to the other side and back? The Magikarp then swam as fast as it could to the other side of the body of water, and back over towards the trainer with a single gym badge. Carp? That was okay, but you could go faster, Naruto told the fish. I was going to turn back and head towards Veilstone Booty, guess it won't hurt to help this little fella. Naruto brought out his Pokédex, and luckily he turned off the Pokédex voice, otherwise the Magikarp would have heard some very insultful words on how weak it was. Only known move is Splash. Naruto then read the possibly moves it could learn as he smiled. Okay Magikarp, we will work on your speed. Magi? Naruto checked the time before looking at the fish Pokemon. First do some laps of what you just did, he told the fish. Do at least 20 to start both ways. Magikarp then took off as fast as it could as Naruto sat and watched the Magikarp swam as fast as it could. Once the Magikarp was done with the 20 laps, the blonde gave it more instructions. Now dive as deep as you can and then jump out of the water as high as you can at full speed, that at least 20 times as well. The Magikarp listened to the blonde before diving to the bottom and jumping into the air 20 times. And Magikarp. Here, eat these, Naruto said, giving the fish some Pokemon food made specifically for water-type Pokemon. The Magikarp ate away as Naruto looked at the waterfall. Is it trying to evolve? Or is it trying to prove itself? His thoughts were interrupted by the same Magikarp he was thinking about. Carp? Oh, it's nothing, he replied. Have a little break, then do the laps but increasing it by 5. The Magikarp, after swimming around a little with its eyes closed, opened them suddenly as it swam the laps followed by the dive jumps. As the fish jumped out of the water, it dived back into it, and jumped again. It was done there though. The Magikarp kept doing those laps and jumps, slowing, increasing them by 5 each time, all the while Naruto encouraged the Pokemon. However, Naruto had to call a stop when the Magikarp got to 50. Stop, Naruto said to the very tired Pokemon. Go have a rest, I'll be back, and when I mean rest, don't push yourself. You need the rest. Naruto then left the Magikarp, who watched him disappear into the foliage as it set its sight on the waterfall. Magikarp the fish was very determined, but remember the words of the helpful blonde. Don't push yourself, the words echoed in the fish's mind. Magikarp swam around underwater as it noticed that it was faster. It blinked as it swam around underwater faster than before. Magikarp stopped underwater for a bit. It needed to repay this trainer, this human, for taking the time to help it. Magikarp looked around to see if it could find anything useful for the trainer. After a bit of searching, it found something. There on the bottom was a single shiny pearl. When the Magikarp resurfaced, it saw the trainer come back holding more food as it spat the pearl towards the trainer. A pearl? Thank you, Magikarp, he said as he put the pearl away. Now for some more training. As Magikarp listened to the blonde, it eventually learned the move Tackle, which would help it survive if something tried to attack it. That was always useful. Magikarp stared at the waterfall before diving deep down before it leaped out of the water and up the waterfall. Magikarp had its eyes closed the whole time. That when it landed in a body of water, it slowly opened its eyes thinking it was back at the bottom, but looking around it noticed that it made it to the top. Magikarp. The Magikarp cheered from the top of the waterfall as Naruto clapped from the bottom of said waterfall. Magikarp looked down at the blonde, who smiled at it. See? I told you that with enough hard work you'll be able to reach the top of the waterfall, Naruto said as he noticed how many hours passed on by. Wow, I never noticed how late it was. It's already afternoon? Naruto was surprised as the Magikarp dived from the top of the waterfall and looked at him once it came back up. I better be going now, Naruto told the fish. Who knows, maybe I'll see you on the way back through here. Naruto was unprepared for the sudden tackle from the Magikarp. Magikarp. The Magikarp cried out as it started to use Splash on him. The blonde picked up the fish and stared at it as it gave him a sad look. You want to come with me? Magikarp, the water type replied. Naruto smiled as he brought out a Pokeball and tapped the fish on the head as the Pokeball shook 3 times in his hand and caught the Magikarp. Naruto then sent out Magikarp into the river. Welcome to the team, Magikarp, Naruto greeted before showing Magikarp its teammates, Elekid and Vulpix. Magikarp, this is Elekid and Kurama. Elekid, Kurama, this is Magikarp, Naruto introduced the Pokemon. The newest addition to the team. Vulpix. Kid. Naruto smiled as the water type, fire type, and electric type got along quite well. Okay guys, it's time to go, he said to the 3 as he only returned Elekid and Kurama as he picked up the Magikarp. I'll help you become the strongest Magikarp ever. I don't care if you evolve or not, but I'll make sure you'll become a strong Magikarp. Carp? Yeah, you don't need to evolve, he told the fish. Remember, I know what it was like to be weak, and so I will help you become strong. The strongest Magikarp. Naruto returned the orange fish to its Pokeball. I'm glad I missed that turn, he smiled before realizing something. I forgot to check its gender, I'll check it later. Might as well go to Celestic Town for the night and backtrack to Veilstone in the morning. The son of Faulkner and Lorelei made his way into the town of Celestic Town. The town gave a similar feel like Solation Town, but much more old and much less farm-like. The town also had a shrine in the center of town. The blonde walked towards it and inspected the small shrine. Behind the shrine was a small cave entrance with 2 large stone depictions of Pokemon. Both of them were quite different yet had a similar design. Are you interested in these Pokemon? A female voice asked as he turned around. He was honestly prepared for Cynthia to surprise him again, seeing that it was probably connected to Pokemon mythology. Naruto saw a smiling woman who gave off a very kind aura. She was wearing a dark brown shirt which the sleeves reached past her elbows, a long brown and maroon skirt that reaches her ankles, what he assumed to be a tan belt, sandals, bracelets, earrings, and a necklace. However, those earrings, necklace, bracelets, sandals, and belt all had something in common. Bones. What seemed to be 3 claws per sandal, 3 small fangs on the tan belt, probably tusks for the earrings, 3 long claws on the necklace, and 3 other sort of bones per bracelet. He had no idea what her eye color was as she had her eyes closed, but she did have long black gray hair. She also had pretty large breasts, something Naruto didn't really pay attention to, but hey, he was going through puberty. He would start getting interested in the opposite sex, or he already started. You know of these? He asked, more interested in the images of the two Pokemon than the female. My name's Naruto, by the way. The woman's smile never died there. My name is Drasna, the now known Drasna said. Those two are the legendary Pokemon Dialga and Palkia. Can you tell me more, please? He asked as Drasna only smiled. Sure, the one on the left is Dialga, the Pokemon of time, she told him. The one on the right is Palkia, the Pokemon of space. Time and space? That's amazing. I wouldn't think something would know something like that. They must be pretty strong. Drasna nodded. There's more in the cave, she told him. Would you like to know more? She asked as he nodded. Naruto followed the nice and kind Drasna into the cave. Dialga and Palkia were said to create it to know itself, she told the young blonde. Huh? Is there something wrong? He asked. I wonder who that is. Naruto looked over to see someone looking at the cave painting. I see, I should definitely tell the boss of these ruins, they may share some knowledge, the person said. She was a female with long black hair reaching down to her waist and amber eyes. When she turned around, her hair covered the left side of her face. The right side of her face showed that she wore an earring and presumed the same on the other side. However, she wore a spacesuit-looking outfit with a fancy yellow G on the center of the chest. Please excuse me, she said as Naruto and Drasna moved to the side as she left. I got a bad feeling about her, Naruto thought as Drasna walked over to the cave painting. As you might know, these three are Azelf, Uxie and Mesprit, she told the 12-year-old. Uxie is the being of knowledge, Mesprit is the being of emotion, and finally Azelf, the being of willpower. What about that dot in the middle? I believe that is either Dialga or Palkia or possibly something else, she said as she continued telling him about the legends of the Time and Space Duo, and the Lake Trio, and the three lakes of Lake Verity, Lake Acuity, and Lake Valor. Thank you for sharing this with a stranger, Naruto said to Drasna, who didn't stop smiling. Oh no, it's perfectly fine, she said. I enjoy telling people about these legends, and besides, we're not really strangers anymore, are we? I guess not. I shall see you again one day, now I must be off. You don't live in town? He asked. You seem to know a lot about this town. My grandparents live in this town, she told him. I myself live in the Kalos region. If you ever there, make sure to say hello. Drasna left Naruto after they left the cave. Goodbye, she said as she left town. Bye. He waved. I still have that bad feeling about that space lady. Naruto walked towards the town's Pokemon Center to stay there for the night. He was going to tackle Veilstone's gym, and if he had enough time, do some shopping at the city's department store, and of course some training with his Pokemon. Chapter 7. Naruto yawned as his Pokemon laid on the ground while his Magikarp was in the nearby lake in town. Naruto and his team woke up early in order to get some training. He didn't know how hard the Veilstone gym would be, but it didn't hurt to train. Magikarp seemed happy as it won a battle with a fisherman who had a tentacle. That fisherman never saw that tackle coming. While Magikarp was doing a victory lap in the river, his Vulpix and Elekid laid on the ground after training. Elekid. Pix. Oh come on guys, it wasn't that hard, he smiled as he tried to get a reaction from his team. However, they only groaned and grumbled, unable to show their frustration at their trainer. Magikarp finished its victory lap. Fine then, return you two, Naruto recalled his team as they let out sighs of relief. The blonde set his eyes upon the orange fish. Alright Magikarp, are you ready? Magikarp, the fish said. Then let's get started. It was now lunch as Naruto was eating with his Pokemon just outside of Veilstone in Route 210. He returned his Pokemon afterwards as he kept walking through the route, occasionally battling the random trainer but making fishermen that were willingly to battle the main priority. Sure, his Magikarp could somewhat fight on land, but it was mainly a water battler. Magikarp battled other Magikarp mainly using Tackle and some other Pokemon like Tentacle. When they weren't battling and near a body of water, Naruto trained his Magikarp. The orange fish was eager to learn and grow stronger. It made him proud of the little fish. Naruto made his way into Route 215 and on the correct path to Veilstone City. Route 215 wasn't exactly the wettest route, there wasn't really any large bodies of water. However, that didn't stop Naruto from getting training with his Pokemon done. Ellicott and Kurama were coming along nicely, as well as Magikarp despite the lack of water, and would flop around on the ground, which also gave the rising champ to be an idea. Naruto started training Magikarp on land. It could use tackle to protect itself and attack others, but they worked on land combat. Magikarp flopped a little less on the ground and actually timed some good tackles in order to attack, as well as Naruto's special training. Naruto and his team found it very amusing to see the reactions of some trainers lose to a Magikarp. It really hurt those trainers' pride as Magikarp took it in stride. Huh, so that must be Veilstone. He looked at the city quite a bit away. Or I got lost. After a bit of walking, Naruto made it to Veilstone. Whoa, that's a big building, he marveled at the sight of Veilstone's department store. It was huge. Naruto walked into the store, and after reading which floor was what, he made his way up to the 3rd floor and bought some TMs, a few potions, and restocked his Pokeballs, and even got a premier ball, a few in fact. Even thought it was just a different colored Pokeball, it looked cool. What? He did find them cool. So what? He wondered if there were any orange Pokeballs. Probably not. While trying to find the gym, he noticed a pink-haired girl. She also had pink eyes, a bandage on her nose and on her arm. She was wearing blue and pink fingerless gloves, a blue and black sleeveless shirt, and finally long white pants with a line of pink going down the side of the pant leg on each side. She, however, wasn't wearing shoes, and her appearance gave off the aura of a hard worker. He liked that. Next to her was a small, blue, canine Pokemon. It has blacks and a black torso, a blue tail, and a yellow collar. Rounded bumps on the back of its paws, what seemed like a natural black mask, and red eyes, and it was standing on both feet, but rather its toes. Naruto brought out his Pokédex and found that it was a Riolu. It turned out that the girl around his age, if not a little older, was going through some fighting stances, and the small blue Pokemon was doing the same. Naruto debated whether to talk to her and ask for directions, or just let her continue training. He decided to let her train instead. He would ask the next person he saw who wasn't training. Hey, where are you going? The pink-haired girl asked as Naruto was walking away. Sorry about that, I was going to ask you for some directions, but I didn't want to interrupt your training. You seemed into it, he told the trainer. Oh, well, thanks for putting that into consideration, she stumbled at first. So where exactly? The department store? Naruto shook his head. The department store was one of the tallest buildings in Sinnoh and was pretty recognizable and could easily be seen when walking into the city, but the gym, however, was not. Nah, just came from there. I'm looking for the gym. You're a trainer? She asked as he nodded. Don't I look like one? The girl blushed and stuttered. No, I meant, well, you do look like a trainer, I was just. Naruto just laughed. It's fine, he waved. My name's Naruto, he said, holding out his hand. Maylene, she replied as she shook his hand. And this is my partner Riolu. Nice to meet you, Riolu. Lu, the small fighting type, greeted. So how many gym badges do you have? The fighter asked. Only one, he replied. The one from Pastoria City. Naruto then showed her the fan badge he got from Crash Awake. Where did you come from? So many questions, I feel like I'm being interrogated, he joked, making the girl blush in embarrassment again. I came from Sunnyshour City. You do know that city also has a gym, right? You could have gotten two, she told the blonde. I want to save Sunnyshour for last, he informed her. Being my home and all. I understand, she nodded. Well, the gym is closed for today. Really? He asked, getting another nod. Well, I guess that gives me more time to train then. That was when Maylene got an idea. How about you train with us? She felt a little dirty for asking this, seeing as he didn't know who she really was, as it could be seen as learning her future opponent's team, and Naruto didn't want to show his special training with his Magikarp, but he would train with Kurama and Ellicott. Or maybe just a single member of his team. Sure, he agreed. Maylene smiled. While she might learn his full team, she could show hers, but that feeling was behind another stronger feeling. It was always lonely for the fighting type gym leader. Yes, she was the gym leader despite her age, thank you. Being a gym leader brought some good sides and bad sides. So training with someone else was very refreshing from the solo training with her Pokemon. Follow me, she chirped. The blonde raised an eyebrow. Why not here? That was my solo spot. Where we are going is more for two people and more exciting training, she smiled as he followed her to a secluded area. Grass, rocks, a running river, this place had it almost. Well, since we are training, might as well let you meet my partner, he then called out his Ellicott. Oh, an Ellicott. Yep. Elekid saw the Riolu who walked over. Riolu. Elekid kid. The yellow and blue Pokemon shook hands at pause. So what type of two-person training do you have in mind, Maylene? He asked as she scratched her cheek with her finger. She had nothing. She was just a bit too happy for having someone to train with. She didn't actually think of a training method for two people. Then it hit her. Well, I usually start training with mediation, it was true, but this time it would help her figure something out afterwards. Maylene then crossed her legs as she sat on the ground with her eyes closed. Her Riolu followed. Meditation, Naruto whispered lowly. Suddenly an image appeared in his head. It was less painfully than the one before, but the image was of meditation? Naruto was actually quite surprised. He only got a few memories of his past life of whatever that was, and besides those few memories years ago, now a few more were coming through after all this time. Naruto faced Maylene as he got into the same position as her, and closed his eyes. His Elekid followed him. The world around Naruto started to go quiet. Only the sound of the rushing water of the nearby river could be heard before it too was gone. While Naruto got into the meditation, Maylene, however, was trying to think of training methods. She got some ideas, and when she opened her eyes she noticed that Naruto was really into it. He didn't even notice the starly that landed on his shoulder. It was quite amazing. Minutes passed. How many exactly? Who knows? Until Naruto heard a voice, narrow. Naruto then started to hear the running water return, the flattering of a bird Pokemon leave his shoulder, and Maylene's voice much more clearer than before as he opened his eyes. Hey there, she said. You were quite into it, you know. Really? I didn't notice. Maylene felt the need to tell Say that was because he was too into it to notice, but held her thoughts. Are you ready? She asked, helping the blonde up. We're ready. Maylene grinned. That's what I like to hear. She then turned to her Riolu. Okay, Riolu, jump from rock to rock. Rio the canine Pokemon shouted as it jumped from one rock to another. You want my Elekid to follow? Maylene's nod was all that was needed. Elekid, follow Riolu. Elekid! The electric Pokemon also shouted as it jumped from rock to rock following the Riolu. Maylene's grin grew. Now let's go. We're also going? He asked. Of course. Naruto suddenly grinned, surprising her. He was surprisingly okay with this. Then let's go. Maylene jumped on the rocks, followed closely by Naruto. The two went down the path that both Riolu and Elekid went down. You're pretty good, the gym leader said to Naruto. You're pretty good yourself, he said back as they continued down the path. Soon the two reached the end as Elekid and Riolu waited for them. Now for part 2, the pink-haired, barefoot trainer said. I wonder what that is, the boy wondered aloud. Let me show you, she said as she, Naruto, and the Pokemon followed her to see an obstacle course. Oh, an obstacle course. Naruto looked over the course. It was pretty well detailed. You must have put a lot of hard work here. Maylene rubbed her finger under her nose with a boastful look. Yeah, it was pretty tough, but we made it, she said as she now had her hands on her hips. I want to enter my Pokemon in the Pokethlon in Johto one day. Wow. There are 10 different events in the Pokethlon, she said. The hurdle dash, ring drop, snow throw, lamp jump, relay run, block smash, circle push, disc catch, pennant capture, and the goal roll. That's a lot. Maylene nodded. However, those are split up into 5 different courses. Speed, power, skill, stamina, and jump. She then continued as they walked to one of the obstacles. Hurdle dash, pennant capture, and relay run are a part of the speed course. Block smash, circle push, and goal roll are a part of the power course. Snow throw, goal roll, and pennant capture are in the skill course. Ring drop, relay run, and block smash are in the stamina course, and finally in the jump course is lamp jump, disc catch, and hurdle dash. She then turned to him. However, due to there only being 10 events, and 3 per the 5 courses, some of the events have to be reused in other courses. Want to try it? My test course, that is. Sure, right, Elekid? Elekid. Elekid pumped his fist up. Yeah. Now as the main event begins, how about 2 Pokemon? That's if you have 2 Pokemon on you. Yeah, I have more Pokemon on me. Maylene brought out her Pokeball. Come on out, Mach-Hop, she called out as Mach-Hop came from its Pokeball. You too, Kurama, Naruto also called out as his Vulpix came out of its ball. Why don't you introduce yourself? She asked as Mach-Hop greeted Naruto, Elekid, and Kurama, which they returned. Now let's start. Maylene pumped her fist into the air. It seems the mock Pokéthon was about to begin. Chapter 8. First is the hurdle dash. Maylene told the new athletes standing at the start of the first event. It's quite simple, just jump over the hurdles and reach the finish as fast as you can. Sounds simple enough. You ready for this? We are. Okay, for this event though only one of our Pokemon will go. Some of ours will do different events as a team. She then looked at her Riolu. You're up, Riolu. Riolu. Kurama, you too. Vol. Maylene then took notice of Naruto's Vulpix. Is your Vulpix okay? She asked, seeing the scar. Yeah, he is. He had that scar when I first found him, he told her. However, Naruto patted his Vulpix as his hand dropped down and lightly touched the scar. It doesn't feel like one, nor does it seem to hurt him, and he always has that eye closed. He stood up and faced her. I have no idea if it's a real scar or not. Well, as I explained the first event, might as well continue with the others. Maylene started to explain the other events. In Ring Drop you have to knock the other Pokemon out of the ring. In Snow Throw it's basically a snowball fight anyways. In Lamp Jump the Pokemon has to touch as many lamps as possible, and they'll glow when they're touched. Relay is exactly what it sounds like, a relay. Maylene then walked over to the other events. Block Smash is chopping all the block in front of you as fast as you can. In Circle Push you have to stay in the spotlight and keep others out. Disc Catch is simply catching the thrown disc first. Pennant Capture you have to collect as many flags as you can and bring it back to your base, and finally Goal Roll is getting the ball into the other's goal. You two ready? Maylene asked the two Pokemon at the hurdle dash. They nodded as she raised her hand into the air. Ready, set, Geo. Kurama and the Riolu speed off. Kurama leaped over the first hurdle as Riolu also jumped over the same hurdle on its side of the field. The four-legged Pokemon was currently in the lead due to him running on four legs, but Riolu was easily near the fox, soon to overtake him. Then again Riolu had a home field advantage. It knew this course very well. However, despite the Vulpix's best efforts, it just barely won the race. Riolu is fast. But however, due to the Vulpix family being a little faster, Kurama just barely won. Maylene grinned. Great! She shouted, shocking everyone near her. I knew Riolu was fast, but that was something else. Let's move on to the next event. Maylene brought them to the next event arena. It was like a sumo ring, but the ring was slightly off the ground, leaving for the Pokemon to fall off, drop not too far, kind of like a step on a staircase. Now for the ring drop. She then looked at her Machop. It's up to you, Machop. Mac. Elekid. Kid. Both Elekid and Machop took to the ring. Ready? Set? Go! She a bit too into it, he thought, sweat dropping looking at the pink-haired girl. Elekid and Machop started to push each other. Elekid. Matchup. The electric type and the fighting type were pushing each other pretty hard with all their might. Elekid started to push the Machop towards the edge, but Machop started to push harder and did the same thing. Elekid was slowly being pushed towards the edge. Elekid. Machop. With a final push, Elekid fell backwards and landed out of the ring. Machop? Elekid looked up to see Machop holding a hand out to the yellow Pokemon. Elekid grabbed the fighting type's hand and got up. Now that's sportsmanship, Maylene said as she watched as Naruto nodded in agreement. Now onto the snow throw. Do you even have snow? Maylene turned around quicker than a quick attack. I know, but I have a way around that. Do I want to know? You see, since it's not snowing here, I managed to have a friend help. She then turned back around towards the snow throw and walked towards a large outdoor cooler or icebox. It was pretty big. My friend lives in Snowpoint City, and she sends me snow for practice, hence the large cooler. So it's all snow in there? And ice. Snow and ice. Hey, you sure you don't have any ice types living in there? They'll probably see that as a potential home. Oh, I guess they could anyways help with the snow. Alright. After putting some snow on both sides of the field, Maylene directed both Pokemon onto the field. Naruto learned that it was a 2-on-2 event and directed both of his Pokemon onto their side of the small snow field. Okay, due to the snow melting after a while, we'll start now. Whichever team has the most points when the timer goes off wins this event. Now go! Elekid and Kurama dived behind Snow after dodging a throw from Riolu and Machop. Vol. Elekid turned to the fox Pokemon. It couldn't throw a snowball. Elekid threw one from where they were as he got an idea, and judging from the look in the Vulpix's eyes, it seemed he thought of it too. Riolu held up his hand, stopping Mac Hop. Riolu's eyes narrowed. Ellicott and Vulpix haven't came out yet, and time was going down, and the snow would be melting shortly. Suddenly Ellicott came from the side and threw some snowballs, which both Riolu and Mac Hop retaliated with their own snowballs, hitting the Pokemon. Kid. Pix. Riolu and Mac Hop looked up to see raining snowballs. Kurama had launched a bunch of snowballs from his tail into the air. The snowballs hit both Pokemon a few times before the timer went off. Ellicott and Kurama turned to Naruto, seeing him clap. That was an amazing strategy, he applauded his Pokemon. I'll admit, using Vulpix's tails as a catapult was clever, Maylene nodded as she gave her thoughts. Now, what about this snow? What about it? It would seem like a waste to let it melt. Maylene was going to say something, but then she realized, from what she knew, he came from Sunny Shore and only had a single gym badge, meaning that he never left the city he was raised in unless he went on trips with his family. You never been to a place like Snowpoint before? She asked as Naruto looked away. And no, I never played with snow before, he admitted. Sand sure, but not snow. Maylene held her laughter. It was quite amusing, actually. While he looked like a playful person, he seemed to look more serious than playful at times. Probably got it from his parents or something. I know the feeling, she told him as she started to roll up a ball of snow. My friend said something similar. She said you never played with snow before, and then, well, that was the day I played with snow. So let's make a snow run, she said. Or maybe a snow axe. Naruto smiled as they proceeded to roll up snow. Their Pokemon joined in as well. Ellicott and Kurama enjoyed it, and even Maylene's Pokemon were happy to play with the snow. Maybe I should let you guys play with snow more often, she smiled, watching the Pokemon create their snow chew. Maylene and Naruto looked at their creation, their Snorlax, while small was done. Maylene then took a photo of both the Snorlax and the newly finished snow chew. That was pretty fun. Maylene beamed. Why, yeah, the blonde agreed, a little embarrassed. Well, fun time is over, and now time for the lamp jump. Naruto swore she was getting faster as she dragged him around. Kurama and Riolu both stood onto the trampoline. There was only one trampoline, so both Pokemon had to share the same trampoline. Okay, before we start, you'll just need to touch the lamps and they'll glow. You'll only get 3 bounces, and after the third one, land on the blue mat. Oh, and the lamps will move as well, she told the two who got ready to bounce. Would you like to start the event? Sure, get ready, Ann and Gyo. Kurama and Riolu bounced high into the air. Kurama touched a few moving lamps, as did Riolu. The second bounce, Kurama only got 1 as Riolu got a few more. Now on to the final bounce. Kurama got more this time as Riolu missed 1 but got another. Sadly, in the end, Riolu won by 3 lamps, and there wasn't that much lamps to begin with. The group then walked over to the relay, and it was much longer than the hurdle dash. Now it's time for the relay run, she then turned to the group. So who's going in this event? Vulpix. Kurama cried, ready for another run, looking towards the Riolu. Riolu turned to Maylene and gave a nod. Riolu. Okay then, it's you two, she said as Mac Hop waved to Ellicott to follow him to the next event to wait for the relay to finish. On your marks. Get set. Go! Naruto called out as both Vulpix and Riolu dashed off from the starting line. It was just like the hurdle dash, however, with no hurdles. Kurama could jump over them better than Riolu, and now it was done to single line running and they were neck and neck. Come on, Riolu, Maylene thought as she watched the two race. You can do it, Kurama, Kurama's trainer thought. The two made their way to the finish line, and when they got closer they both went full out and then tie. Maylene called out. While Naruto looked over to Maylene. What happens with a tie? No points or both get points? Well, for this I say we should both get a point, she said. But the points don't matter, now for the next event. No time for breaks, it seems, he thought as Maylene got the 2 other Pokemon ready. Okay, you two, time to break all those blocks as quick as you can. First one to do so wins. Maylene raised her hand, and as soon as it dropped, the 2 Pokemon began to punch and chop away. Ellicott punched the blocks hard, as did Mac Hop, but it seemed Mac Hop had the advantage as soon Mac Hop cleared the event first. Now moving on to the circle push. Ellicott stayed, and as Riolu walked up. You only have a few seconds to stay in the spotlight, try to stay in it when the timer runs out. Oh, and the light moves as well. Will it be a single round or multiple? Best 2 of 3, she replied. Now let's do this. As the event began, Ellicott and Riolu got to the light as Ellicott pushed the Riolu out of the light. The counter countdown as Riolu pushed back, This happened for a while before Elekid pushed the Riolu away as the timer went off. The next round began as the light grew smaller, and the pushing escalated, but Elekid was no match for this round as Riolu won the round. It was now the final round. Elekid grabbed a hold of Riolu and let Riolu push him out when the timer count down to a few seconds left before Elekid spun around and pushed the Riolu out of the spotlight, and won the event. It was now time for disc catch as Vulpix and Mac Hop got ready. Suddenly the disc was thrown as both Pokemon jumped up. Mac Hop grabbed the disc first. "Here comes the second disc," Maylene shouted as she threw the next one. This time Kurama caught it with his mouth. "Here's the next one." Maylene threw another as both Mac Hop and Kurama jumped into each other mid-jump and missed the disc. "Last one." The last disc was thrown as they quickly jumped to reach. Kurama jumped high as he caught the disc in his mouth and landed on the ground and spat the disc out. There are only 2 events left, pennant capture and goal roll. "And both of those are 2-on-2, right?" the rising blonde asked, getting a nod. "Yep, now as I said for pennant capture, it's basically capture the flag, but for this game there will be no flag stealing from the bases." Naruto hummed and looked towards his fire type. He then knelt down and looked at both of his Pokemon. "Okay, you two, win or lose just now, I'm proud and do your best for these final 2 events." "Vulpix." "Elekid." "Great, now show them what you're made of." Maylene smiled at the sight before she smiled at her Pokemon. "The same goes for you too, do your best," she told them. "They are some good opponents, and a taste of what those real events could be like." Riolu. Mac Hop. Now let the pennant capture begin. Both teams dashed out to grab the flags scattered around the field. Elekid managed to grab a few as Kurama carried one in his mouth, but Mac Hop and Riolu could carry more flags. While Elekid and Kurama managed to bring back some flags, Riolu and Mac Hop were able to get more. Now it was time for the goal roll. "Go!" Maylene shouted as Naruto covered his ears. "D-damn, that's loud." Elekid kicked the ball as Riolu countered with a kick. Whenever the ball got close to Mac Hop or Kurama, they flicked it away with their feet, or in Kurama's case, his tail. Elekid kicked as hard as he could, leaving Mac Hop to dive and miss the ball, scoring the first point for Elekid and Kurama. Maylene watched as she sent looks to the ticking timer. Mac Hop passed the ball to Riolu, who managed to trick Kurama and score a goal. Kurama used his tail to send the ball to Elekid as said yellow Pokemon went and tried to get a goal, but the ball was stolen by Riolu, who got another. "Not much time left," Maylene said. "A few seconds remaining." Kurama passed the ball to Elekid, who managed to fake out Riolu and started running towards Mac Hop, kicking the ball on the way there. Elekid went to kick left, but it was another fake out. 5. Maylene counted down. Mac Hop dived to the side as Elekid did the fake out. 4. Elekid kicked the ball hard to the side as Riolu started running up. 3-2. Riolu was too late as Elekid got the goal. 1 time's up. All the Pokemon panted and took deep breaths after all those events. "With all the points, it's a tie," Maylene said. She quickly turned to Naruto. "Your Pokemon were great," by the way she smiled. "It was awesome having someone to face against in these events." "I'll admit, that was pretty fun." He grinned. "I might have to sign up one day." When the 4 Pokemon were having a rest and a meal, it was then Naruto noticed the sky. The sun was setting, night was almost upon them. "Ah man, it's way too far to reach the Poke Center." "Oh yeah," Maylene's head sprung up as they were having their own meal. "I completely forgot you were out of town. But I got a great idea." "What's that?" "To make up for you coming all the way out here, you can spend the night, and can take care of the gym in the morning." "Are you sure? I don't want to impose." "Nah, it's fine," she waved his concerns off. "Besides, it would take a bit too long for you to get back, especially with the way we came." "What's wrong with the path?" "The way we came was a shortcut, and it would be pretty dark to move around. The long way will take longer." "Thanks." "No worries." Naruto then turned to her. "You said that I can take care of the gym in the morning. What do you mean by that?" "Whenever the gym opens, you can be first priority." "How can you do that, and how is that even legal?" "Of course it is," she waved off his concerns once more. "Plus I have connections with the gym leader." "Are you perhaps a relative?" Maylene grinned. "Yep." Maylene jumped up. "Now time to show you your room." Naruto then entered the room he would be staying for the night with his Pokemon. Later into the night, Naruto laid on the bed as Ellicott and Kurama were asleep. He got out of bed and gazed down at his third team member, Magikarp. He was planning on doing some special training with Magikarp, but however he seemed to do some Pokeathlon events however. That also helped his Pokemon in the end. It just helped them grow stronger and he had to thank Maylene for that later. Naruto silently opened the window and left with a single Pokeball, leaving his two other Pokemon sleeping and his bag in the room. As he made his way to the nearby pond he moved past Maylene's room window. When he glanced to the side, Maylene was sprawled out in a somewhat funny position as he continued to the pond. "Come on out, Magikarp." Magikarp appeared in the pond. "Magikarp." "Okay, Magikarp, we have to be quiet," he whispered to the fish. "So are you ready for that special training we were working on?" Magikarp. Magikarp whispered back with determination. Naruto then started Magikarp's special training under the bright glow of the moon above them. Chapter 9. Naruto woke up after a night of training with his Magikarp. He stretched as he noticed the time and sighed. Thankfully he didn't sleep in too late. Getting up, he got ready for the day, put on his bag and woke his Pokemon up. Naruto returned his Pokemon as he left the room. "Good morning," Maylene said as she did some practice stances. "Ah, morning," he said back. "How long have you been awake for?" "For a while," she answered him. "I put some bread in the toaster for you." Naruto blinked and then smiled at her. "Thanks for that." "As I said yesterday, no worries." After Naruto had breakfast, Maylene gave him some Pokemon food to feed his Pokemon as she left the room for a bit. Once his Pokemon were fed and returned to their Pokeballs, he got up and was ready to leave when Maylene returned. "You ready to take on the gym?" "Yep. I don't know how strong they are, but we're ready for anything." "That's the spirit." Naruto and Maylene made their way to the gym as Naruto adjusted his bag. "So this is the gym?" he asked as he looked at the building. "That's Veilstone's gym," she answered. "Wait here for a second, I gotta go talk to them." "All right," he said as he took a seat outside of the gym. He opened his bag and checked the things he had obtained on his newly started journey. His necklace he had from years ago, the flute given to him by Celeste's father, the evolution stone given to him by Celeste, and the other stuff he bought, and of course those Pokeballs, potions, and a few TMs. I should buy some food. He zipped up his bag and put it back on. He only relied on getting to a city or town for food, but one day it may take days to reach just one town, and he needed food for himself. Sure, he had poke food on him, but he really needed some for himself. "Okay," he heard Maylene's voice coming from within. "You may come in now." Once he entered, he saw Maylene on the battlefield, on the other side of the room. Once she saw him, she grinned and waved. "Hey! Wait, you're the gym leader?" Maylene rubbed the back of her head. "Hey, sorry about that," she apologized. "I would have told you, but it's not every day you meet someone who doesn't know you simply through being something like a gym leader." "I understand." Naruto nodded to her words. "You're not the only one." "Huh?" She was quite confused. "You telling me you're a gym leader too?" "No, wait, that can't be it." "I'm not a gym leader," the blonde replied. "I'm the son of a gym leader." "But the only gym leader in Sunnysure is Faulkner. Is your father?" Naruto nodded. "And the former member of the Elite Four, Lorelei, is my mother." "Wow. I can understand how you feel. It actually made me feel quite lonely at times, seeing as it was mainly for status," he replied as Maylene shared the same feelings. "But it feels somewhat familiar, like I was already used to it." "Anyways, that's not why we are here," Naruto said as he stood on his side of the field, just like when fighting Crasher Wake. "We are here to battle. No titles, status, or even lineage. We are here to battle as equals, as trainers." "You got that right," Maylene yelled enthusiastically. "How many Pokemon do you have on you?" 3. "Same," she said. "Now 3-on-3, let's go." Both Naruto and Maylene raised their Pokeballs and threw them, unleashing their first Pokemon. "Vulpix!" Kurama cried out, ready for battle. Meditite, a new Pokemon, called out. It looked like it was meditating constantly. "You ready, Kurama?" Naruto asked his second Pokemon. "Pix." Kurama used Ember. Kurama fired a small ember towards the Meditite. "Use Detect," Maylene called out. After Meditite using Detect and making the ember miss, Maylene followed up with another move. "Now use Meditate." Kurama used Will-O-Wisp. Kurama fired a blue flame at the Meditite, burning it. "Meditate one more time." Meditite started meditating one more time, making its attack stronger. Kurama used Confuse Ray now. Kurama fired a sinister ray of light towards the fighting type. Use Detect. Maylene called out as Metatite evaded the attack afterwards. Now Confusion. Metatite then attacked the Vulpix with a weak telekinetic force. Luckily it didn't confuse the six-tailed fox, and with the effects of 2 Metatites boosted that power. Confusion again Metatite. Use Flamethrower Kurama. When Metatite attacked Kurama with the telekinetic force, Kurama unleashed a raging wave of flames towards the fighting type. Now follow it up with Confuse Ray. Kurama fired a second sinister ray at the downed Metatite. As the Metatite stood up, it became confused. Come on Metatite, use Meditate. When her Pokemon took a single step, it got hurt by the effects of Will-O-Wisp. I forgot about the burn, the gym leader thought. Medi, the Metatite said as Naruto called out the next attack. Use Ember. Kurama fired another Ember at the fighting type. Use Detect. Maylene called out, but her Pokemon hurt itself in confusion, followed by the Ember fired by the Vulpix. Finish it off with Flamethrower. Use Confusion now. Metatite was hit by the Flamethrower as it landed the attack on the fox. With both the attack and the burn, the Metatite fainting, but not before leaving Kurama becoming confused from the attack. Return Metatite, Maylene recalled. Let's go Mac Hop. Mac. Mac Hop used Low Kick. Mac Hop went for a low kick when Naruto called out an attack. Fire a Will-O-Wisp. However, Kurama hurt himself in doing so as Mac Hop landed the attack. Mac Hop used Focus Energy. Mac Hop took a deep breath and focused. Kurama used Ember. Kurama fired the Ember, but Mac Hop dodged the attack as Maylene called out the next attack. Karate Chop. Mac Hop raised its hand as it performed a Karate Chop on the fox Pokemon, sending it into the ground. When the Vulpix landed into the ground, dust shot into the air, and once it faded, Kurama had swirls, or she had fainted. Return Naruto recalled the Vulpix. You did good today, he said as he brought out his second Pokeball. It's up to you now, Elekid. Naruto sent out his starter, who grinned at the fighting type. Elekid. Mac Hop, Low Kick. Elekid used Low Kick as well. The fighting type and electric type landed their attacks, leg against leg. Now use Thunder Shock. Elekid. The electric type fired the electric attack at close range, shocking the fighting type. Karate Chop. Quick Attack. Mac Hop was unable to finish the attack as Elekid quickly attacked the fighting type Pokemon. Your Vulpix and Elekid are good, Maylene praised. So are your Metatite and Mac Hop. I can't wait to see your final Pokemon. Naruto only grinned. Well, you better prepare yourself, because my final will leave you shocked, speechless, and humiliated all at once. I'm curious now. Mac Hop used Low Kick. Elekid jumped back and used Swift. Elekid fired a bunch of stars at the fighting type. Now follow it up with Thunder Shock. Elekid once again sent the electric attack towards the Mac Hop, shocking it. Low Kick now. Karate Chop. Elekid kicked the Mac Hop as its hand landed a chop on the electric type's head. Elekid rubbed his head as Maylene recalled her fainted Pokemon. If this two are this strong, then I definitely want to see your third Pokemon, she told the blonde. Go Riolu. Riolu. Elekid used Thunder Shock. Riolu dodged with Quick Attack. Riolu easily dodged the electric attack and appeared behind Elekid and landed the attack on the Pokemon. Elekid, you alright? Naruto asked, getting a nod. Then use Swift. Riolu used Counter. Once the ray of stars hit the Riolu, it responded with a powerful attack, twice as hard. Elekid. Elekid was sent flying back and rolled on the ground. Thunder Shock. Elekid hurled a jolt of electricity towards the Riolu, hitting it. That's the Spirit Riolu. Use Force Palm. Maylene called out as Riolu hit the electric type with a shockwave from its palm. Elekid. Yelly. Use Thunder Shock one more time. Elekid gave a battle cry as it fired the jolt of electricity towards the fighting type. Quick Attack into Force Palm. Riolu sped around to behind Elekid and then put a palm to Elekid's back and sent a shock wave to the Pokemon. Elekid, Shock Wave. Riolu quickly finished it off with Force Palm. Elekid sent a quick jolt of electricity towards the Riolu and Riolu couldn't do anything about it. Riolu landed the attack as Elekid was sent backwards and fainted. Good work out there. Elegant Naruto recalled his first Pokemon and brought out his final Pokemon. Finish him. Both Maylene and Riola blinked at the Pokemon. It was a Magikarp. Is he even taking this battle seriously? Or was he hoping that he'll beat me without sending that out? She thought. Either way, it seems like it's going to be an easy win. So much for those words that pumped me up. I can see that you're both shocked and speechless, Naruto said from his side of the field. But not humiliated yet. Come on, Riolu, it's going to be an easy win. Riolu. When Riola took a step, it froze. Paralysis, she thought. But Magikarp won't be able to attack. When Riola got to the fish, it attacked. Tackle. Riola was sent back by the tackle. So you do have a way to attack, Maylene whispered. No matter, Riola used Force Palm. Splash! Magikarp flopped around as Riola raised its palm. Naruto only grinned. Now, secret technique. Magikarp suddenly sprung up high into the air. What? Maylene shouted. Wait, Magikarp can only know 3 moves and that attack. Her eyes widened. No, wait, that attack can only be learned through, Maylene commanded her Riolu. Riolu dodged the attack. You won't be able to counter in your position. Magikarp. Use bounce. Magikarp came down as Riolu was caught in paralysis. Magikarp landed on the Riolu, bringing up a lot of dust once more, and once it faded, it left an unconscious Riolu as Magikarp flopped on top. Naruto picked up his Magikarp and brought it close. You did it, Magikarp. All that secret special training paid off. Magikarp, Magikarp. Maylene just stared with wide eyes. Too can't believe it, she dropped to her knees. I was defeated by a Magikarp. It looked like that stung a bit. Tell me, how did you teach Magikarp bounce? Magikarp can learn bounce, but it can only be tutored, as you know. How did you find a tutor out here? I didn't find one, I tutored my Magikarp myself, he told her. Her eyes widened. Bounce, a flying type move, was super effective against her fighting types, and never did she imagine that she'd be beaten by a Magikarp knowing it. Naruto returned his Magikarp into the Pokeball. Magikarp worked very hard to learn that move, he said as he walked over and held a hand out for her. And you know now, any other fight you may lose, it won't be as humiliating. Maylene took his hand as she got back up. Right, she said softly. But Naruto braced himself for whatever may happen. I would like to battle you again when we get stronger. I didn't see that bounce coming, and I'll have to get stronger too, but just you wait. When we get stronger, we'll take you 3 on. Maylene pulled something out. Here, take the Kabul badge. Naruto took the badge and put it in his badge case with the other badge. Now he had 2. So which gym are you going after next? She asked as her Riolu was already back in its ball. I plan on taking on the Harem gym next. I heard the gym leader is also a Pokemon coordinator. Really? If you can't find her, she'll probably be at the contest hall. Her name is Fantina, Maylene told the blonde. Thanks for the heads up, he said as the two left the gym. Stop by when you get a chance, she waved as he left the city down Route 214. Maybe we'll run into each other at some point as well. Sure. See ya. He waved back after healing his Pokemon and leaving the city. Lou. Maylene's Riolu waved as well. Come back soon, Maylene continued as Naruto left. Naruto walked down Route 214 as he pulled his badge case out of his bag. The 2 badges he had obtained shined. He closed the badge case and put it back in his bag. 2 down, 6 to go. It was still a long way to go yet. What if Naruto has harem with Denzi, Lorelei and Canna? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.